right, I would like to welcome you to the 2019 Indiana Masters. We're at Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. We're down to the final match, and we have Tyler Perry, who is the survivor of the winner's bracket from Vincennes, Indiana, against Gene Perez from Greenwood, who survived the elimination bracket. So they will now bowl a game. If Tyler wins this game, the tournament is over. If Gene would win this game, then we have to bowl a second game, and whoever wins that is crowned the champion. I'll send it up to Scott and Mike.
All right, thanks, Jeff. That was Jeff Circle, the tournament director for the Indiana Masters Championship. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Gilmore. Joining me, Mike Albee, the PBA Hall of Famer and Indiana legend. We're here in the final match of the 2019 Indiana Masters from Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. We have Tyler Perry taking on Gene Perez, and Gene Perez, a familiar face, Mike. He won the Indiana Scratch Classic just a few months ago.
Yeah, still throwing it good, obviously. No Christmas break for Gene, so he's going to be a tough one today.
And now Tyler Perry, the young collegiate star, has had great success on the collegiate tour, 5 all-tournament teams. He's looking to claim a state championship here. What's he got to do to make this happen?
Continue to do what he's been doing. And I'll tell you what, he made some great shots when he needed to in the 10th frame, and that's what it comes down to. I like him as well. He's making some great shots.
All right. Again, Gene Perez has got to defeat Tyler Perry twice to win this title, so advantage right there out of the gate for Tyler Perry. We're going to find out who's going to win right now. Match underway. All right. Now we have Tyler Perry going to start off this match here. He'll take on Gene Perez, who looking to win back-to-back state titles here, winning the Scratch Classic back in November, your place.
Yeah, what a challenge, though. You know, they've been warming up on the lanes down to the right of us here, but no practice on this pair. So this shot, it's first one in quite a while.
All right, Tyler Perry, left lane, 7. Lane 7, championship pair, 7 and 8. First shot. Comes in light, leaves just the 1-2-8, and again, we want to thank our sponsors for making this happen. I want to thank Pinheads Bowling Center in Fishers, Indiana, Big Four Socks. Also want to thank Motive Bowling for their contributions, and as well as Mike Albee's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette. And again, Tyler Perry, winning of the advantage of winning the winners bracket, only has to win one game.
Yeah, I think the pressure becomes the leaders, because the guy coming up needs to win twice. I mean, just you're loose because you got to win twice. Great spare, fill in the frame. Well,
not only do you win the $2,000 first prize, you get an entry into the USBC Masters State Championship. You also get that nice Eagle Trophy.
Yeah, very nice looking. Interesting. Farthest out we've seen Gene in quite some time, but this pair hasn't been bowled on for a couple hours at least now.
And the thing about it is you get no practice on the pair.
Yeah.
They got to warm up on 13 and 14 while we were getting the set ready for the championship. And, man, you're coming out of here and, you have no idea what the pair's done.
Gene made a big guess. It just was too much at this point. Great spare. Great spare.
So in your mind, it's who can make the fastest adjustment, get lined up the quickest, right?
Yeah. Because you got to figure Gene's got to move in a little closer, move in a little to the right, and that should put him back in play. Tyler, on the other end, he's got to move to the right and see if he can get it to make the headpin. So we'll see.
Well, being in that championship or winner's bracket where you have to be beaten twice, now if you're Tyler, does he have a little more chips to gamble with, you think?
A little, but I think the pressure's on him to win it and get it over with.
All right. Second frame. Way out.
So I was totally wrong with the thought process that he would move in. Because that ball was way out there.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if that was really a shot.
If he missed or not, yeah.
Right.
But obviously it's been several hours in this pair that hasn't been bowled on, so it's got to be a little tighter than what they've been bowling on. And what they were bowling on was, pretty well the Mojave Desert. It pretty much dried up in the middle.
Yeah, this pattern was tough all weekend, and just to kind of give you an idea, it was a 3-game qualifier. They had 4 qualifying squads. The top 16 scores and ties were automatically placed into the top 16 seeds, and then scores 18 through 48 came back and bowled 2 games this morning to fill in the rest of the bracket, since we had a 2-way tie for 16 and 17. So Some guys have been here a long time under a lot of pressure and stress, and it makes it a big difference. And Tyler Perry was one of those guys that had to bowl 2 games this morning.
Yeah, it's a long day for him, but he's young though. He can handle that.
And Tyler was the 23rd seed in this tournament. He steps off the approach. And Gene Perez comes in as the 8th seed. One thing that we don't want to do is speak too loud. We're right behind the championship pair.
Yeah.
A little off balance at the foul line there, but throws a nice shot.
Boy, that ball just looks so comfortable. It does all the right things. It looks predictable. And that on this condition where it's been basically unpredictable all day,
Right.
best thing you'd have is something you know what's going to do.
Exactly, and I like the fact that it's very smooth. It's not real jerky, as what they would say, how it reacts down lane. It's not a real sharp break. It's nice and flat and even, and kind of trying to keep the head pin in play here.
This is a big shot here.
And he can take an early big lead here. And as you know, Gene has to win twice. So Tyler's comments in the booth before this match started was, I'm going to bowl my game and pedal to the metal, so to speak. 3rd frame. Oh.
Good break.
Yeah. He'll take a 9 count any day, won't he?
Yeah, he's got there a little quick look like, got around a little early.
Well, and Tyler Perry, he's on Motive staff, and they signed him to a regional type amateur contract, and Gene Perez on EBI staff. So a couple of staff guys going toe to toe here. What brand wins? Good spare there from Tyler. Any spare's a good spare right now.
Yeah, just fill the frame. Yep.
But I always felt like, boy, just having that extra game in your pocket, it's a lot more pressure on the guy trying to beat me twice. But if anybody can do it, Gene Perez can.
He's staying out there.
Wow. And I think this is catching him off guard a little bit too. And like you're saying, where Tyler could maybe make smaller moves, Gene's got to make bigger moves, right?
It looks like so far, and I would have thought he would have moved in a little bit better. But obviously he's throwing it, and he knows it much better than I do. But just from watching, the more and more I think about it, I think he just missed on that one where he had the 5 count washout. I think that he might do that one bad, but he's still fishing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, also, fans will be back here in March 9th, I believe, for the Indiana Queens event. The ladies will be bowling here at Championship Lanes, and we'll be here broadcasting the tournament in its entirety. So for the first time ever, we'll have the Indiana State's best women bowlers here at Championship Lanes on March 9th. So stay tuned for more bowling here on Savage Bowling TV with the Indiana USBC. So now Gene Perez up here in the 4th frame working on a spare, trails by 18. Oh. And that's even more difficult now.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely trying to get it out there. I mean, obviously that's 2 times in a row he's got the ball through that far, and this one is deadly because it costs you all your count. He was already down 18 pins to start with, so
yeah,
and you still don't know where the pocket's at, so it's going to be very hard to come back from this one.
You just add 10 pins to the deficit, just like that. So down 28, looking to make a spare. And I'm really curious to know what made him think he had to go way left.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the spare ball there looked more what I thought he was going to try to do, get in a little more, just break it from about 10 to 5, somewhere in there. But he left a 6 pin still, so he's going to need some help here if he's to be the master champion.
Well, now if you're Tyler Perry, boy, now, you have to feel like it just relaxes the arm swing just a little bit more.
Yeah. And you've got to be careful. Like I said, playing with the lead is difficult.
Yeah. Well, you're up 28. You could come away after 2 frames and be up almost 40 pins.
Oh, beautiful
great shot.
Beautiful shot.
Well, that's what you do. Just, you know, hey,
Yep.
you're in the pocket. You got to figure if you do that 5 or 6 times in a row, you're going to carry at least 4 of them,
Just
aren't you?
fill the frame, yeah.
You hope.
But that was a pretty ball.
The crown jewel of state singles tournaments, the Indiana Masters. Championship match here. Tyler Perry from Vincennes against Gene Perez from Indianapolis. Gene looking to become the 2nd guy to win the Indiana Scratch Classic and Indiana Masters in back-to-back events. Only other guy to do that is TJ Schmidt in 2017. Good spare there from Tyler.
TJ had a good run today. He bowled well
Yes.
on a very demanding condition and scoring pattern.
But it was survival of the fittest, I mean, in more ways than one. You had to get some breaks, but you also had to throw some great shots. And
you had to take advantage of the breaks when you got them.
absolutely. Comes in high. Boy, he's been fortunate a couple times to leave just a single pin. You know, most pros would make this 99 out of 100 times, you would think. Of course, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to get complacent.
Well, you just don't want to let your guard down.
But every time he fills a frame with a spare or any kind of mark, it's making it more and more difficult for Gene.
Oh. That looked like a nervous attempt, didn't it?
Yeah, you know. I mean, he was up 37 going into that, but he's given a little bit of hope to Gene, but
Well, you just don't want to give him any room.
we haven't seen Gene hit the pocket yet, so until he can do that, there's, you know, not a lot of pressure.
Well, but like you were saying, if Tyler continues to mark, Gene's got to strike. Now all of a sudden you get a 2-bagger, and all the pressure goes right back on Tyler. Inside he went.
Yeah.
He didn't get that one out. That one looked in. I think there was the right move. Don't think he projected it where he wanted to.
I agree. Easy for us to say, though, right?
Now, if you're in Tyler's position coming off an open, what are you telling yourself?
Yeah, it's got to be one of those things where you just forget. Once it's out of your hand, you forget it. So now it's just back to reloading one shot at a time and do the best you can do, get a strike, hopefully, and loosen yourself back up.
Be interested to see what Gene does here. Does he go back out, or you never adjust off a bad shot, right?
Right, and he doesn't look comfortable at all.
All right, working on a spare, 6th frame here. Trails by 26.
Good speed.
Oh, good ball.
You know, I have to reiterate. I mean, it's just amazing the talent we've had today. I mean, every match is without practice balls. I mean, it's phenomenal the amount of adjustments that they've been able to make, especially these two.
Boy, you have to really have short-term memory loss right here, don't you?
You do.
All right. After missing the 6-pin in the 5th, Tyler Perry now in the 6th, leading by 26. Oof.
He told himself he got around it, and it looked good. Didn't look like they had the same speed either, but you know, it's makeable. It's difficult, but it's makeable.
Well,
you'll start watching count too.
Yeah, and you just didn't want your mistake to multiply here. And this is makeable. And he misses leaves the 3 and the 4. And now it's a totally different match, just like that. And that's what missing an easy spare sometimes can do to you, because you've given your opponent breathing room,
exactly.
Some life, and they know Gene doesn't need any.
Well, with a couple strikes, Gene's only 4 pins down.
Yeah. He could actually take a lead with a double.
He moved in.
Oh.
Yep, moved in. 2, 8, 10. See, this makes it more difficult. Now Gene needs the spares here and there, and he's picking up pins. So Tyler's made it way too easy for Gene to get back into this one.
Boy, there's nothing better for yourself when you're sitting on the bench and you take the lead, isn't it? And misses count. So he gets 8 fill in the 7th, 103. Now Gene
double takes the lead,
yeah. But still, now, it comes down to the 8th. It could be just a 2-pin match even here, potentially. Tyler's probably thinking, so I got to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Now Gene Perez striking the 6th, 7th frame, right lane. That looked in. Oh, boy, ball held.
Wow. High flush.
That's the thing, I told you, he's like a cat. He's got so many, guys just give him so many opportunities. But Gene makes the most of it.
Yeah.
He looks lost, and then all of a sudden, he's thrown the back 5 strikes
here.
here.
Double there, huge.
Now he's got...
He's went back to being in a little bit, keeping the speed up, keeping it on line. And that ball hits for all it's worth, that's for sure. Great shots. Last 2.
Yeah, he goes down from potentially 37 pins. Now he's up 8. He can make it 18 with a strike right here. In just a matter of 4 frames. Mm. Six pin. Still, he's going to have a 7-pin lead, sitting on the bench, essentially. It's amazing how fast those leads can go away.
Well, and he's lined up again, so...
Yeah, 3 frames ago, you were thinking, ooh, I didn't like what he was doing at all. And then, all of a sudden, now you don't know if Tyler doesn't look lined up at all either now. Gene's the consummate pro. He's a grinder. But you know what? He's still got to win another match if he wins this game. So that's the difference would be like in USBC Masters after you do all your best of 3 total pin matches. Step ladder is just one game.
One game,
Now this is, you got to win 2 if you're the elimination bracket winner. Now Tyler Perry looking to get something going here after 3 consecutive open frames. Right lane, 8th frame.
Change balls.
Ball doesn't pick up at all.
No, he was actually hitting the pocket on this lane with that other ball.
Well, I think he's, after throwing a couple of loose shots, has maybe gotten a little desperate here. Now, in your mind, do you
But it's close. I mean, you got to be careful what you're doing here because you could still guts this one out with a win, even with the other ball. But he made the bold move, made the change, so we'll see where that goes. But he's barely out of it, so.
Yeah, just a 7-pin game.
Yeah.
Needs to make a spare here, though.
Oh.
Where the wheels have fell off right now for Tyler Perry. 4 consecutive open frames. Well, Gene is on a 170 pace.
Strikeout for 172 for Tyler.
Right.
He still has it left. I mean,
he's going to have to call upon all that intestinal fortitude, so to speak, to and see what he's got here.
yeah, it's not time to abandon ship and worry about the next game. He still has an opportunity in this one.
Left lane, 9th frame. Oh my God.
Now you can look to the next game.
Now what does he do? Lower 710.
Yeah.
Now what do you do?
Yeah, this is going to take all he can do for the confidence level to get himself back and ready for the next one.
I will say this. Do you like the ball reaction from the change?
I mean, it was a good adjustment off the first ball, but just coming in so late, I don't know.
I guess my question to you would be, if he makes the 6-pin in the 5th, do you think
No, it's a totally different game.
He's not throwing that ball, is he?
Totally different game.
So do you tell yourself, let's really rethink the strategy here?
Yeah, because I think we both like the way that first ball works. I mean, it was predictable, and I just don't think he threw it good a couple times, And it's time to pick something that's going to work, though, because Gene definitely has got the right one going for him.
Well, he hasn't missed a pocket since the 5th frame.
Yeah.
Now, the gutter 9, he came in high and left a 6-pin on the second ball, so he's still even there, he's around the head pin.
Yeah.
I think if you're Tyler, you have to sit and think, either do you make an adjustment off that 7-10 or do you go back to the other ball? What are you telling yourself?
I mean, nobody knows their equipment like themselves. I mean, Tyler's going to know more than any of us, but I just think he needs to figure out whether he really threw those balls correctly or it was the lane and equipment, and I think that's where the detail is. Because I thought that one ball looked really predictable. The darker ball looked predictable, and as long as he didn't get around it, so I think that this ball, while it hooks more, I just don't know if there's that much room to find.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're Tyler Perry and you...
Now the heat has switched.
Well, if you're Tyler Perry and you tell yourself, hey, Gene's going to shoot 168 to 170, do you like your chances? And he would have said yes. Maybe he's out of mulligans, I don't know, but you've got to expect Gene's going to shoot a lot better game than that.
Well, it's definitely a tale of 2 games. I mean, they both had the horrible 5 frames. Just Gene had the first 5 and Tyler has the last 5.
All right, well, Gene Perez wins game number 1. We're just waiting for Tyler Perry to finish. We once again want to thank our sponsors, Pinheads Bowling Center and Fisher's, Motive Bowling, Big 4 Sox, and Mike Alby's Arrowhead Bowl in Lafayette. And also want to thank the Indiana USBC, for their support and their tireless hours of being in a bowling center, and Jeff Circle for once again being the tournament director of another fine event. And also want to thank Dave Small and Angie Collop and the staff here at Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana, for a wonderful job once again hosting, and obviously Dave Small making the announcement to us a little bit ago that they have signed a 5-year deal to maintain sponsorship here and support of and host of the Indiana Masters Championship. So Tyler Perry coming in high there, and I just don't like the ball.
Yeah, that ball did not alleviate any fears that he had, because it trued up too quick. I just think it's too strong. I think the other ball's the right one. It's just he's got to make better shots.
I think too.
It's important to make the spare. Great shot because he needs one. He needs another shot.
Boy, if
he needs another practice ball.
If he has a coach, if you're.
He's getting some help from back here, some of the friends, I think, but they're kind of talking to him a bit. But
well, he's going to try a different ball here. I don't know. We'll see what this one does. But if this has a weird reaction, I think you got to go back to what he started with. But we'll see. All right, field ball here. It's going to come down to one game for the Indiana Masters Championship. We're going to see another 7-10. All right, Gene Perez wins match number 1, 170 to 139. Scott Gilmore and Mike Albee here in the booth for the 2019 Indiana Masters Championship here on Savage Bowling TV. And we look short because the camera's way up there, but we are short. He's a little taller than I am, and better looking. But anyway, Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee here for you at Savage Bowling TV. We're in the championship match here at the Indiana Masters, and Gene Perez wins game number 1. And what are you seeing here, Mike? What's Tyler got to do? Because he looks lost.
Advantage Gene. He's lined up. Tyler's not. I think he needs to go back to that first ball he used and just make better shots with it.
All right, we're one game away to find out who is crowned 2019 Indiana Masters Championship. Gene Perez looking to do what only's been done one time, and that's T.J. Schmidt, and win back-to-back state championships, winning the Scratch Classic and Indiana Masters. And he starts off this match with a blower.
Yeah, great
10
shot.
back shot.
Great shot, and that doesn't do anything for Tyler's
confidence.
Confidence either. So, but Tyler's shown all day that he's a great player. We know he's a great player. Take a deep breath, step back, and just do what you do and bowl.
Well, and you knew when you bowled in your days who the pinnacle players were in your time frame, and when you were bowling against them, you never give them opportunities, right?
Yeah, I mean, you try not to. I mean, you definitely don't want to loosen their swing up any looser than they already are.
Well, and he had Gene on the ropes early and let him off. Do you think that's going to weigh on his mind a little bit too much?
You'd hope not, but it's hard not to.
All right, here, let's see what he does here. He's going to stick with the ball he finished with. Match number 1 here, right lane. Seeing it looks like it's burning up too much for me.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the ball got back. I was kind of a little unsure if that was going to happen, but it came back, and like I said, it may be using his energy up a little too soon. But you know, I mean, the key for him right now, whatever he's throwing, he has to believe in it. That's the one, so he can loosen up his swing.
Well, you know, and the typical adjustment off that shot and that reaction is what?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dangerous one because you can end up with a big 4 or something. This ball's going to break too sharp. And you got to make your spares too, and that's a good shot. Good shot.
I really think, you know, obviously you'd love to be able to stop him and ask him what he's thinking, right? Sometimes you just have to talk yourself through things, correct?
Well, whatever decision you make personally, you have to believe in that. You can't be one of those, well, if I do, you've got to be totally committed to it, and that's where Tyler has to be. He has to be, if this is the ball, then it's the ball. That's what you do.
He's going to stay with it. Working on a spare, second frame.
Or you get a break like that, it might loosen your swing up too. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he's looking for something good to happen. And that was a good break.
Well,
good
when you basically have 5 open frames in a row, 6 open frames in a row, and then he made a really tough spare in the 10th to give him an extra ball. I thought he might go back to the black ball he was throwing early, but
I mean, he obviously believes that's the one, and like I said, you just have to sell out on that. I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Well, Gene taking one of his 3 re-racks here. Strike started. He looks in full control right now. Ooh, almost carried the 6-8.
Yeah, he got around that one a little early, I think, and wanted to break a little sharp, and but like good break getting that 6 out of there. But he realizes too, it was a big shot, second frame. You can really put the heat on Tyler. Re-rack. The re-rack
Yeah.
tells you that he was looking for that one to be a big one.
Yeah, Tyler's got spare strike, but he's not lined up.
Yeah.
All right. Spare for Gene in the second.
Two classy bowlers, great bowlers. So it's whoever wins this has definitely earned it for sure.
Well, it's been a long day of bowling. And 365 bowlers comes down to these two guys for all the marbles. Third frame here for Gene, left lane, working on a spare. Left. Break.
Yeah, we've seen a lot uglier shots that have left 5 counts and things like that. So the 1-3-6 is pretty good.
Even 3 counts.
Yeah. Well, we did see
Some
those,
some
yes.
balls don't come back from
No,
where his
at
came
all,
from.
Yeah.
Now this out the window shot for Gene, for Tyler, who's not even looking, which you said is the right thing to do. Maybe gives you a little bit of.
Yeah.
The oxygen was getting a little thin there, wasn't it?
All he had to listen to was not all the pins going down. So that, it didn't matter what he left. There's just something, he leaves something, yeah.
Well, when Gene strikes, it sounds loud.
Well, I mean, this could be a big boost if Tyler's able to throw a very good shot here and get a strike. I mean, this will be the confidence that he needs to really keep going. And he left a 10-pin, I believe, on the last shot here, a little light.
All right, got a strike going. Can he parlay the break? Nope.
That's what you don't like about it.
It picks up too early.
Quick, yeah.
And when he really hit a spot, it just burned up a little bit and left the flat 10 and maybe the 7-10.
Yeah, just didn't have enough energy left. But sitting at home, I mean, it's obviously easy to make these observations when they're out there trying to do it, but because it's a very, very demanding condition. Good try. Good try.
Good run at the 6, 7, 10, but he leaves the 7-pin for an open frame in the third, and now Gene finds himself up 9 pins here through 3 frames. And if you're Tyler, you'd feel okay if you were lined up, but boy, when you open and none of your shots have really been all that close.
Yeah, it's a bad position to be in.
And I think you got to make some kind of drastic change here sooner than later.
It's very close to that point. Yes, I agree.
Let's see what he does here, 4th frame.
Give her room. Yeah, that far out, just not going to make the turn back. But gotta fill it. Need to make your spare and just get, you're only down, less than 10 pins. So.
Well, I feel like when I'm watching not only the body language, but this ball is like him trying to put a round peg in a square hole. He's trying to fit the ball in a spot, and you can't. When your body's already tight, you got to do something different, and that's trouble.
Yeah, what you don't want to do is make it easy on your opponent, and we'll see what we'll see what Gene's able to do here. I mean, he's got, a couple big shots here, and he can really put this getting close to out of reach.
Well, as well as I know Gene, you can bet this is hitting the pocket.
Good speed, good power.
Gene knows.
Yeah, he knows he's got him on the ropes here.
And this would be the first time in Masters history, I believe, that anybody's won from the elimination bracket. I don't believe a winner's bracket bowler has ever been defeated in 2 games for the championship. So Gene looking to do a little bit more history and win back-to-back state championships. That's just incredible. Well, here he is. Big double here if he can get it. 5th frame. Boy, pin's dancing all the way around it.
He gave it the room, got the power, got it back, and somehow he leaves a 6.
Well, you know one thing. He doesn't lack at the bottom. It's going to have a mitt full in
The
it.
last 2, he's done a good job of waiting on it. You know, not getting that thumb drop too early or getting around it too quick to where it breaks too sharp and too high. But we gave it every chance he could there. Good break for Tyler.
Yes. And if you're Tyler, you just...
You just got to forget everything and start over, you know. Yeah, those quick stops will think about knee surgery at any point when you start stopping that quick.
You know, when you watch a guy bowling and he's got street shoes on, and I just don't know how the knee's not going to hold up.
Yeah, which ACL or MCL is going to go first, right?
I mean, even with slide shoe on, and if I bowl 10 or 12 games in a day, my slide leg is throbbing.
You got to have a little give just so you can take a little of the pressure off the knee. Well, here's a big shot.
He's going to stay with the ball. Really thought he might give up on it. The game goes by so quick. Down 20, right lane, 5th frame.
Yeah, nice ball.
Oh.
Nice ball. Good loft. Waited on it. Got it down the lane. Still had power left. Good shot. Now he needs to do it one more time.
Yeah, if he can do it here, it tells Gene that
Just
he
gotta
might
take it
not
one
go
at a
away.
time. Yeah, just one at a time.
All right, once again, you're watching the Indiana Masters here on Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore and Mike Albee here in the booth, bringing you all the action. We're down to the final match here between Tyler Perry and Gene Perez, and Gene Perez won the first game here. He had to win 2 games here. Tyler Perry, by winning the winner's bracket, had to be defeated twice here, and a big point of the match right here for Tyler Perry.
We are in the last 5 frames, so. You know, something happened in that first 5 frames that he didn't like with that other ball. Something that told him that wasn't it, and it's not obviously not what we saw back here. But you know, he's throwing it, and he's the one that's got to believe in it. So, but once again, that ball just wants to go too early.
You know, sometimes you got to wonder, he missed the 6-pin, and then he threw a bad shot with it right after that. Then he changed.
It's very possible.
And sometimes you overthink, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Needs a spare. Oh, good break, good break. He's only down 20. I mean, you know, he's obviously in it. One break either way can turn this one around again.
I think, though, if you were to say after the match, regardless of what happens, and you talk through him with the match, he'd be almost probably questioning himself why he went away from that ball, maybe, but only he knows that. Now Gene Perez here, 6th frame, leads by 20. 6-pin.
Yeah, still having a little trouble with the approach, looks like. A little sticking. But boy, he's certainly given it all the miles per hour he can give it.
Oh, yeah, Gene doesn't lack in...
But it's a makeable spare. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it could have been a 6-8 just as easy as anything.
Well,
you know.
yeah, and I don't see Gene giving him any freebies.
Well, this is the 3rd match they bowled out of the last 4 games, so it's been quite interesting.
Well, this is a rubber match.
Yeah.
Tyler won the first one, Gene wins the second one, and the winner of the rubber match gets all the gets all the victors. Here we go. Halfway through match number 2 here. Winner will claim the championship. 7th frame on a spare. And you can tell when he likes it. He starts to walk a little early. Yeah.
That was a pretty ball. The only thing I've been worried on that was the 7-pin, because that just had it written all over. Perfect shot.
Now Tyler Perry with the spare in the 6th. 7th frame. Trails by 19. Oh, wow.
That's right.
He just looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, he needs to make sure the ball gets to the right a little bit, and it's so easy to throw it past the hook point, and that's what happened there.
Well, and
He's still in it. I mean, you pick this up, and you're still in it with 3 frames to go. Just once again, you just gotta take a deep breath and take it one shot at a time.
not the easiest of
No,
spares.
it is not.
Especially when you just miss the head pin right. Tendencies to go left.
Good break. Good break.
Even that ball just kind of labored a little bit down lane.
Yeah, and I thought he threw it good and threw it where he wanted to, and that. I mean, it looked good.
Well, he's probably hit the pocket maybe 4 times with this ball, and he's left he's left a 1-7-10, almost left another. Then that one kind of struggled. Then he threw one that really went well, but how many times in a row, though, Mike, can you really pure one?
It looks like we're doing something different here. I think looks like he grabbed the ball farther back on the rack this time.
Eighth frame to do it, too.
You know, it's easy to second guess what he's doing, but boy, you want him up being difficult, being out there like that when you're trying to make every shot work, and the lanes are difficult. It's a low scoring pattern. We've seen it. You know, we've seen a 160 game win. We've seen a 240 game win, a 220 game lose. So we've seen a little bit of everything. And it's just it's frustrating. But Tyler's been the class of the field today. I mean, he's bowled really well to get there to lead it.
Well, a tough spare here. 3, 6, 9, 10.
Excellent shot. Big shot.
Sometimes have you ever seen yourself actually relax more on the spare, even though it's a difficult spare? Yeah. Sometimes it's, you know.
That was a big shot.
Getting that adrenaline down. And
that keeps him in it.
Trying to get that heart rate down a little bit. But now Gene Perez in full control here. You got to think strike here, and he really might put the nail in the coffin. You just don't see him giving the head pin away.
Good shot. He knew it. It was a great shot. Good speed. Kept the speed up. Stayed with the ball. Great pin action.
You don't see him screaming yell very often, so you know how big a shot that was in his mind.
Yeah.
He's going to take a re-rack, his second. He's got 1 left. Players get 3 re-racks per game.
He's about 38 pins up at this point. You know, if both guys take it off the sheet, I mean, you know, it's obviously, you know, Gene's going to shoot in the 230s.
Well, even with the spare, he's 2-teen, right? So he's really, you know, 2-teen pace. Yeah, Tyler can only get to 180. He's got to have help. This one here would pretty much end it.
Yeah.
9th frame. Oh, the one thing he didn't want to do. Now all of a sudden, I think if you're Tyler Perry, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to a ball that I'm going to go back. I still think he's got to go back to the other ball, but he's not going to do that, I don't think, at this point in time.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you look at the last 3 shots, I mean, they've not been close to the pocket, so.
well, 172, so
It's, I mean, Tyler's got 188 left. I mean, but he's going to need them all.
he's going to have to throw 4 of the best shots he's ever thrown in his life right here.
And then get help.
And, yeah. This is where those 5 and 6 count shots on the first ball and a spare really, 6, 7 pins here and there.
It's a full
yeah.
mark, yeah.
If you give him 7 more pins, it's totally different. Then all of a sudden he's 195, and it would force Gene to.
If he doesn't strike here, it's over.
Yes. All right, 9th frame. Nope. No way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Tyler, it's just.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's hugely disappointing for Tyler. He's a great player. He's got big tournaments coming up. To me, the key is not to use this as a downer or as a negative, because you lost a couple games here at the end but you let it.
Right.
You got to take the positives from this, because he's got big things coming up here that he needs to keep his mental game ready for.
Yeah, and
that's hard to do.
Yeah, I know how he feels.
Yep.
I've been there before. It's so hard to get to this point, and you're one. You got to lose 2 games, and you think to yourself, I'm going to win one of those 2. You think, and I'm real curious to hear his reasoning behind going away from the one ball he started with. I just felt like he changed on a bad shot.
Something told him that it wasn't it. So,
I know it's hugely disappointing for him, but Gene Perez, what can you say? What can you say about the guy?
Yeah, he bowled tremendous all day, and obviously yesterday as well. Made the shots when he needed to several times. Yeah, I mean, he's a deserving champion.
Well, there you have it, guys. Gene Perez does something only one other bowler has ever done, and that's win the Scratch Classic and the Masters back-to-back, and he's done it. He joins the group that only included T.J. Schmidt from Osceola, Indiana. So again, Gene Perez, your 2019 Indiana Masters champion. We're going to take a short timeout. We'll come back with an interview with the champ right after this. All right, welcome back to Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana for the 2019 Indiana Masters Championship here on Savage Bowling TV. And I'm here with the champion, Gene Perez, and president of the Indiana USBC, Kerry Kane, for the trophy and check presentation. Kerry?
Thanks, Scott. First of all, I want to thank Scott, you, and your broadcast host, Mike Albee, Hall of Famer, PBA, and Indiana State Hall of Famer. Our sponsors, Pinhead, Motive, Big Four Sox, and the Indiana State Bowling Association. Gene, we're making a habit of this. Congratulations. This is the Masters Tournament and Scratch Classic. You're the second person to do that. I have an eagle for you. Here's your second eagle. Another small check. Congratulations, young man.
Appreciate it.
It's very good bowling.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Kerry. And Gene, we're making a habit of this, right? I was going to ask, you probably want Mike Albee at every one of your singles championships that you bowl, right?
Oh, yeah. Looks like.
Well, tell us, we were really curious as you were bowling the championship match. You were bowling outside, and what did you see there that made you want to make that play, and then the move to really that set you apart from Tyler?
When when we were bowling before we started the final match, we were practicing, and I found something outside. So I thought it was going to be the same this pair, but it was nothing like the last pair I was bowling. So I decided to move in and just die with it. Just,
Well, you saw him really start to struggle, and I know how you are. You're a guy that takes full advantage of when somebody else is struggling. And we were laughing earlier like you were a cat with 9 lives out here. Guys were just giving you every break, and I'm like, this guy doesn't need any.
you know what? Before we started today, when I was coming this way, I was talking to myself, it's going to be a long day. Just make all the spares, be patient, and just see what happens.
Well, think of this. You're the second guy, as Kerry said earlier, to back-to-back Scratch Classic and Indiana Masters. That's pretty hard to do. That has to make you feel really good and confident going in.
Yes, sir. I feel I'm right now. I'm a speechless, so I'm just living the moment and see where I go.
Well, trophy case is getting full. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 Indiana Masters champion, Gene Perez from Indianapolis. We'll be back after this, wrapping it up with Mike Albee in the booth right after the short timeout. All right, welcome back to Anderson, Indiana Inside Championship Lanes as we wrapped up our 2019 presentation of the Indiana Masters Championship here on Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore and the legend, PB Hall of Famer Mike Albee joining me here today. And been a long day of bowling, but it was a grind, and 365 competitors took their chance at this event. Gene Perez walks away, the guy unscathed, for a back-to-back state championship here at the Scratch Classic of the Indiana Masters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the best of the best here in Indiana for the Masters, and Gene continues to show that he's the best, if not one of the best for sure. So that's easy. But yeah, he made some great shots. Tyler bowled tremendously all day to be the leader, but just couldn't quite figure him out in the end. And it was a struggle for everybody. I mean, it was a low-scoring pattern, but you had to guts it out. You had to make shots, and I think the true champion came out there today.
Yeah, you really have to feel bad for Tyler Perry, but Tyler shouldn't hold his head down. He's had a great collegiate career going, a great season going. He's made 5 all-tournament teams, and they got a big one here at Western Bowl coming up at the Hoosier Classic. So Tyler put that on his notebook of put an asterisk beside that, looking for a champion or an all-tournament team there as well. But Mike, we'll be back here next week for the Indiana High School State Finals. You'll be joining us with that. We'll have the singles and doubles state championship for both boys and girls, and then the team event right after that in the evening for both boys and girls. And we're looking forward to spending a little bit more time here at Championship Lanes.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to it next week. Indiana weather should be perfect. Should be, 6 inches of snow and whatever. But, the bowling's going to be great. The kids are tremendous, and look forward to that. What a lot of excitement. It'll
be loud and raucous in here for that event as well, and a ton of people. It's amazing the amount of crowds they get for the high school state finals here from Championship Lanes. We'll also be back for our next state presentation for the adult side. We'll be here for the ladies, for the Indiana Queens on March 9th here at Championship Lanes too as well, and Savage Bowling TV will have all the action for that from start to finish, and we'll find out who will win the first Queens ever televised here on the internet here at Savage Bowling TV. Mike, I want to thank you for your time, and always look forward to it, and safe travels as you head back home. So for Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee, and for Chad Lester, our director, I want to thank all the staff here at Championship Lanes for another great year, another great event at the Indiana Masters. Gene Perez wins the 2019 Indiana Masters. We'll be back here next week for the Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. So long, everyone.